everyone, I'm super lucky to be interviewing the incredible Alyssa Shapland. Alyssa is an amazing writer and storyteller, a passionate advocate for people living with chronic illness, and has recently starred in a promo video for Champion Gym, and is also the incredible author of the short story Swift, and until recently worked at the Lit Centre. Moreover, she has a Bachelor of Arts from the University of Western Australia, majoring in Italian and archaeology. So talented! I believe that Alyssa is an inspirational author because of her writing comes from the heart and is gorgeously written. And Crohn's disease is brutal, but she hasn't let it stop her kicking amazing goals. She's a fierce advocate and is a truly incredible and inspirational author. Thank you for letting me grow you.
No problem.
Are we ready to get started?
Absolutely.
Starting off completely random and not at all related to your work, but what has been the hardest puzzle that you've completed?
That's a tough one, but I think it was probably Van Gogh's Starry Night, because it's all blue. So I think it was about 1,500 pieces, and yeah, apart from the couple of stars, it was mostly black.
Wow. Well, that's impressive how you completed it.
I got help.
Yeah, I completed a puzzle, and I can only do easy puzzles, so that's incredible. That's an amazing artwork.
It is. It looked really nice when it was finished. I was very proud of that.
You should be. You have recently just done a promo video for Champion Gym. What was that like?
It was really interesting because they got me interviewed after I'd done a class, and we have a coach who's Thai, and he's very funny, but he's also very strict. And so we'd just done a class where he goes, okay, we'll do 20 kicks on both sides, and then we would do more drills, and then 30 kicks. And so we'd done all of these kicks, and I was just nearly falling over. And then they come to interview me, and the coach comes over and he's like, oh, why no makeup? I was like, oh, that's just what I look like. And he's going, your hair's no good, you need to take it out, do it again. And so he's fixing my hair and tucking my shirt in and making sure that I looked, good for my interview. But I was very red because I was very tired from having done the class. But it was really great actually to have someone filming me in the class, because I thought I looked quite, together, which I wasn't expecting. Normally when they film, I fall over the skipping rope or my glasses bounce up and down and I look very attractive. So I think I almost had it together this time.
Well, I thought it was an amazing video. It was incredible. I loved watching it. How many takes did you need for it?
I think we only did it in one, but the guy that filmed it edited a lot of me blathering out of it, which was very good of him. He could have left it all in and it would have gone for 6 years, but he decided that he would, cut it and make it a little bit more,
succinct.
Well-rounded, exactly, succinct and normal looking. Yeah. He did me a favour.
Well, I think it would have been amazing either way.
Thank you.
Your short story Swift is featured on the Centre for Stories website, and I must add, it's incredible. How are you feeling about everyone reading it, as it's a very deep and personal story, but empowering?
I was a bit nervous because I was putting a lot of myself out there, and I think a lot of people write from that perspective. But I was very inspired by doing a workshop with Holden Shepherd when he talked about writing from trauma and using your experiences to write in a deeper, more personal way. And I just felt that it would be more useful. I would be able to communicate more what it was like to live with a chronic illness and the kind of mental hurdles that come with that, if it was more personal. So it was nerve-wracking, but also quite exciting because it was a chance for people to have a bit of a look in and see a bit of what things were like behind the scenes.
Well, I think it's an amazing story, and I think you wrote it brilliantly. It just flowed. And it was amazing.
Thank you. I tried really hard.
Well, it turned out as amazing as you could have hoped.
That's what I hoped. That's what I thought. Yeah.
Following up from that, for those of who are watching that haven't read it, can you give us a little bit into a spiel?
Absolutely. So I wrote this story about coming home to Albany from Perth when the virus hit, because I wasn't really safe on public transport and spending so much time out of the house with a lot of kids every week. So I travelled there 5 hours south to be with my family, and I was back in my teenage bedroom, which was pretty strange for me because it had all of these boxes full of things that I'd collected from travels, from uni, from high school. I had kept everything. So the story is really about me unpacking those boxes, but both sort of physically and metaphorically, in that I was going through those things and sort of dealing with any of the issues that came up around when I was diagnosed with Crohn's, relationships that have broken up, all sorts of things that I had just put in boxes and ignored for a very long time. I actually had to bring out from under the bed and really have a look and see sort of where my last 5 or 6 years what had they been like, and who I had become as a result.
Oh, that's really cool. I love that deep meaning. I love deep meanings in stories. And I thought the way you made it was just perfect. Perfect way of use of metaphors and everything.
Thank you.
You are also part of the Girls with Guts blog. Can you tell us a bit about what that is?
Absolutely. So Girls with Guts is actually based in the US, and it's for women who have got Crohn's, colitis, or have ostomy bags for whatever reason. So it's actually really empowering because it's a group of women who absolutely understand you. You don't have to explain anything about your day or any of the complications that go along with having Crohn's. They just get it. And so they've asked for bloggers to share their experience and to make other women throughout the world feel like they're connected to something as well, that we're a big community and we're all unwell, but we're a lot stronger than that. So we're very empowered and we're all together, and that's been really nice actually to get my writing out in that sort of sphere as well.
Oh, that's amazing. That's such a cool community.
Yeah.
I love that idea. Love that. You have just started a graduate diploma of records management and archiving at Curtin.
Mm-hmm.
That is so cool. Could you tell us about what that sort of means?
Yeah, so it's at the moment I'm focusing on archiving. So it's the idea that I really wanted to be an archaeologist. Obviously when I was younger I wanted to be Indiana Jones, but with slightly better ethics. And when it sort of became apparent to me that archaeology itself is quite physical and you're often in remote locations where you weren't very close to a hospital, that wasn't going to work for me. So I thought, well, okay, instead of being Indiana Jones, maybe I'll try to be the librarian from the Mummy instead. So we're studying, at the moment I'm doing units on conservation, so we're looking at different materials that are in libraries, archives, museums, and how to look after them, how to protect them from the elements and dust and pests and all sorts of things, which is actually really interesting. And then learning how to not only look after books, but how to put collections together. That would be, I'm thinking I could be a pretty good librarian.
I know you would be a great librarian. You're amazing with books.
Thank you.
If there's one thing you wish everyone watching could understand by living with Crohn's disease and being a successful writer, what would it be?
It's a very, very good question. I think probably the hardest thing about living with a chronic illness of any kind, particularly invisible ones, is that you can look really good. You can look like you've got everything together and you're totally normal. but you're not. You're your own sort of special, and that can be quite hard to communicate, because I want to be going to lots of writers' events and to feel legitimate and feel like I can come along to squibby things and all those sorts of things, because they're great and I love meeting authors and working with them and learning from them. They're all fantastic. But sometimes I'm really tired and I have to plan naps into my day, and sometimes I don't have enough spoons to go out to things. So trying to write while you're really tired, or you've got brain fog, or you're in pain, can be quite hard. But I think we're all linked by the fact that we have to write. That's just the one thing that drives us, that we couldn't live without not doing it. So yeah, you got to keep doing it because that's your passion, and yeah, you're representing not only yourself but other people that have chronic illnesses as well, to let them know that they can do it as well.
Yeah, because it's hard balancing everything, but I know that you're an amazing and valid writer. Just because you can't attend every single thing does not make you any less valid as a writer.
Thank you.
And yeah, it is hard because with all the pain and all the fatigue, yeah. I get that.
And you forget a sentence
Yeah.
while you're writing it.
Yeah, that's a hard part about being a writer. It's like, oh, the best idea, right, what was it? And then you forget the main plot of that sentence, and you're like, kidding me?
Yeah, where was I going with that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Now we're on to the speed questions.
Okay.
What are you writing at the moment?
I am attempting to write a novel where the characters have Crohn's. So I may have been inspired by a certain someone who has put their own chronic illness in their book. Not looking at anyone in particular. But I just think that's a really cool idea, to put yourself into writing where we're not really represented very much. So
Yeah.
I think it's really good, because a lot of people that are diagnosed with Crohn's, it's between the ages of maybe 16 and 25 is the most common age bracket. So that's also a pretty common age bracket for people that read. So I figure if they're reading, they would love to see themselves in something. So I'm hoping I can get it together and do that for them.
Well, I look forward to seeing that, and I know you'll be able to do it because you're such an incredible writer.
Thank you.
And I look forward to seeing the character with Crohn's. I think that's amazing. What is your favourite ice cream flavour?
Black cherry.
Ooh, that sounds amazing. Which book character do you or have you had a crush on?
Oh, I think probably Rudy from The Book Thief and Percy Jackson.
Yeah, Percy Jackson. I like Percy Jackson, but I also like Annabeth.
Yeah, that's fair. Total badass.
Brains.
Yeah.
What was your worst subject in school?
Definitely maths. I went to after school maths every Thursday for about 4 years. Never got any better. They were very patient with me, but they always just had to write on my report, she's very nice. They tried so hard, but my brain isn't wired that way.
Yeah, your brain is related towards creativity, like writing, and that's where your heart lies. Yeah, I suck at maths too. Who is your favourite or most inspirational author?
It does change all the time, but I think at the moment it's definitely a tie between you and Holden Shepherd.
Oh, thank you. And Holden is definitely an amazing author. If you are old enough, please check out his book.
Absolutely.
Do you prefer reading ebooks or hard books?
Definitely a hard book kind of person.
Yes.
Everywhere I go, I always bring an extra suitcase, or I have to buy one while I'm overseas to bring home the books that I have, because I will not take a Kindle with me anywhere. It's not the same. It doesn't smell right.
Yeah. That's the correct answer. I'm going to say that.
Thank you.
That are hard. Perfect. What is the weirdest place or thing you have gotten inspiration from?
I think I probably get a lot of inspiration from people watching. So just, it doesn't matter where you go, you'll always see some interesting things. So I like watching people on trains. I know that sounds really creepy, but you know, they do interesting things. You know, there was a guy one time who was making origami just on the train, or they're reading something interesting, or they're listening to music really, really loudly so you can hear that, you know, a 50-year-old guy's listening to Taylor Swift, and you're like, oh, I like that. You know, you're getting inspiration for characters just from sort of piecing together things that you see while you're out and about. That's my favourite thing to do.
Keyboarding, I love that. I love that idea. Do you remember the first book you ever read, or your favourite childhood book that you just loved to read?
Oh, I think, I mean, I was a bit of a nerd at school, so my library in primary school had a really, really tiny history section. So I read all of the like Egyptian mythology, Greek mythology, like they were the books that I went for first. Yeah, they were my favourite ones.
I love mythology. I love Norse mythology.
Yes, absolutely.
What do you see as your biggest achievement so far in life?
Oh, I think actually probably getting that story published. That's been a huge thing for me, because everything else has kind of come along with just getting on with the Crohns, you know, like graduating uni. I was like, oh, that's really cool. Didn't think I'd manage that. Or, you know, any of the jobs that I've done, any of the volunteering, all of those sorts of things. But yeah, I think that story has really topped the year for me.
I think they're both incredible achievements.
Thank you.
Do you have any advice to share with young writers?
I think just keep going is my biggest advice would be. If you have a story in you, and I think a lot of people do, get it out there. You know, really commit to it. I know I'm terrible at that, but believe in yourself. Believe that the story that you have is important, and that, you know, it will be something that other people could relate to and enjoy. Write something that isn't, you know, currently out there. Write a book that you would love to read. I think that's the thing that I would like to do.
Amazing advice. Thank you so much for letting me interview. This has been amazing.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Make sure to check out Alyssa on her social media and check out her short story because it's incredible.